if I can have those members who are not driving currently accept people on the stage. That would be great. And we'll kind of just go from there. Just keep it respectful. Please don't bash anybody. This is meant to just be positive, like, okay, I want to see this change. Maybe is there a way we can implement this? Like, all of that's fine. Just keep it respectful, keep it courteous. If any other members of High Command want to address anything before we start, now would be a good opportunity. I'll take that as a no. So I'm going to quickly request to speak are active. If I can have either 501, 502, or 301 accept people up, I would be greatly appreciated because I am
I can accept people. I got it. I opened requests for everybody, so I think you should be able to request it and then have the ability. What the hell? I have it enabled for some reason.
Is it not working?
I don't know. I have it open for requests. It says allow requests from everybody.
Okay, so it should be working. So
there's no request.
Yep, I was requesting. So essentially, as everybody knows, 301 Hutch Monroe was elected to office approximately a little over 1 week, I think almost 2 weeks now, actually. We have implemented a few changes on the LSPD side, including rifle certs. We've added moto, and heat is soon to come. See what else have we changed. We've revamped our SOP. It is 75 pages long, which is a little long. We've implemented IA on the LSPD side. And OIS reports and things like that. High Command has changed. We have 301 as Hutch Monroe, 302 is Luca Mino, 303 is myself, and 304 is Vecino, and 305 is Ellison. So that is all our changes to LSPD High Command. About every single person is new, not to the department, but to High Command. Let's see. We've been speaking with Saffer a lot about complaints that have been coming through on both PD and Saffer side. In regards to transporting, we've been trying to come with compromises with Saffer, what treatments they would be okay with officers doing and transporting and how that works with Saffer. Essentially, the consensus with that one was if they're online, don't move them if you don't have to. If you have to move them, it's because they're like in the road or they're drowning or something where keeping them in that position is going to most likely result in their death. That is something we've come to the consensus with. Treatment-wise, they'd prefer that it's only certified people. So, for example, people that have gone to their class and have received training, those are the only people they want treating if possible. But if somebody is like bleeding out and you're not certified, you guys are more than welcome to pack it with gauze. Like, so common sense things. Staffers shouldn't be yelling at you on scene. If they are, that's something that needs to be addressed with command. And that's really it on the Saffer side. I've been trying to speak with them, see what they want us to do in regards to transporting and how we can make it so they're not yelling at you guys, because I know that was upsetting people on both sides. So I did have a meeting with them to kind of clear the air. I'm more than happy to continue having meetings with them. Supposedly, they are going to be coming to command more with their concerns. So I would expect that. But that's really it on the staffer side of things. I know we've had a few people say that they would like shotguns in their vehicle, and I have spoken with some members of high command, and we've put in some thought before we came to this decision. But what I believe the consensus was, shotguns, at least on the LSPD side, are going to be SWAT only. They're going to be treated more like breaching shotguns rather than like patrol shotguns. What patrol is going to have access to is an AR certification, and BCSO is welcome to kind of steal this idea if they want. But essentially, our head of SWAT, JJ, is hosting trainings throughout the week, and when people request it, so people can get certified. Essentially, it's range time, rifle safety, when to pull out your rifle, and maybe when not to. He will check you off, and then you guys will be cleared to carry your rifles in your vehicles. It's just a matter of discretion when to pull it out. It's not like something that somebody's going to be pulling out 24/7, have it on their back 24/7, but it's something that you would be cleared to carry in your vehicle. We've got our new vehicles. Hopefully the extras are fixed. I'm not sure if anybody has tested that. I cannot read chat.
They stick.
They still can't request.
Oh no, the extras on your vehicles, they'll stick. I brought that issue up the other day, and they got fixed. So you can put your vehicle away, you can bring it out, you can leave it. No extras that you have taken off, we put back on the vehicle. What you take off or put on will stay on your vehicle now.
By the way, I can invite people to speak, and I can bring them up on stage. So you just have to either DM me or say it in chat and like ping me that you want to come up on
They
stage. And
should
once
be
everyone
able
is
to
done,
raise their hand
they can't.
as well.
I don't know why. It's just so.
They
Just let me know, and I'll invite you up on stage to speak.
I can't really read chat, so if somebody also wants to communicate that to me, or if it's a point that I need to be made
Yeah.
aware of,
We
invite
had
them up
one
to speak.
person. We got one person I know that wants to speak.
Okay.
Is that all you got? I mean, you can finish what you got to say. If not, we can get up.
No, please. I was just coming up with things to talk about until people wanted to speak.
All right.
Do you want me to go first, real quick, Stein, before we get everybody in their opinion? Because they'll probably definitely want to get an opinion from what I'm going to say. So the whole situation, people have been very, very confused with the subdivision stuff, for especially with CID and BCSO, or sorry, not BCSO, SWAT between both departments. The situation that's occurring right now between both departments is that we're merging the two divisions. The goal is to set CID in both divisions to a major crimes division and kind of be like a sub department. So they'd have major crime badges, and they would be, in their sense, have their own rank structure. That would just be like a detective's playground for them. You'd have a head, you'd have an assistant head, you'd have sub supervisors in the subdivision, then you'd have just detectives within it. It would become jurisdiction wide, and detectives, whenever they're available, can have that activation and can patrol in that sense and be able to assist around as need be, and they'll work together. SWAT would be like a JTF, Joint Task Force type thing. It would be a one big SWAT email, Discord, whatever, have that together and have accessibility between both departments. And in that sense, they'd be able to have teams made and go between both departments. So it'd be, again, statewide jurisdiction. So we have everything set for when it needs to activate, it can be activated, so we can get our warrants processed and etc. The way it would work as well, to create more, I guess, fairness between departments. In the major crimes division, the head of it would be an LSPD member. The second in command would be a BCSO. For the SWAT side of things, BCSO would have their side of things, so they'd have their one of their people as an O1, and then LSPD would have one of us as an O2. So it has kind of like an equal playing field, but in the sense of quote unquote, one has ownership of the other, just to keep things fair between departments. But they'll both technically be sub departments, and those two members will just have to work together. And we kind of want to just push the departments not together. We're not merging the departments. We're not making this all one department. We just want to put these two subdivisions together so we can kind of just put our heads together and kind of put this all effort together so we can get things processed a lot quicker. I know the SWAT and LSPD has been progressing very well. So whenever everything gets all introduced, it'll hopefully be a smooth transition.
And really quickly, just a talking point, what was your time frame on the merge to be complete?
Time frame, there isn't much of a time frame. We're looking to get the badges in and the EUP side of things for the CID stuff, and hopefully the SWAT stuff down the road. I think the investigation stuff is going to be coming soon because there's going to be like some scripts and things like that getting added as well for CID purposes. That'll be added maybe 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. That's the time frame we're looking towards. Maybe even a month, just depending on how proficient we can be on getting these things in and how proficient we can be to getting these divisions set up, because we need both O1 and O2 of the division or the sub department to get together, create documents, get everything set, agree on everything, talk about, tell me and Stein and our command what they want from us so that we can provide, and then from there we can go into that. So probably maybe 3 weeks is my best estimate.
Okay. So I'd say now is probably the best time to invite people up to speak on any point, including the subdivision point.
Yeah, if anybody wants to come up on stage and speak about anything, just ping me in the LEO meeting.
515 had his hand raised in the chat, so.
Okay, I'll invite Ledger up here. Ledger, you should have got the invite. There you go.
So, can y'all circle back to me? Because I don't think this is the right time to bring that up.
Yeah, if you want.
This was before it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can bring up anything, anytime.
Yeah, you can bring it up anytime, man.
Okay. So something I was gonna bring up is these mergers between departments is great, and it's going to bring some cooperation between departments. But as of now, from what I've seen, I'm not gonna say any names or call anybody out, but it seems like the patrols from both departments are having a really hard time working together and being cohesive. So I'm proposing some kind of like team building or something like that to try and get things a little more locked on in that sense, because it a lot of the time it feels like either we're doing something or LSPD is doing something, and it doesn't seem like when we're out patrolling that there's really much cooperation between the departments.
Yeah, I understand. That we can work on up. Me and Touch did mention before we can have like a joint training kind of thing, to where we can work together and get used to working together, because we generally will work together. We're at Leo, LSPD or PC. So at the end, we have one job, one task: keep crime out of the city, be in the county and city. We assist each other. With that, I feel like it could be personal, because I get it. Like, if you're not LSPD, you're not PC, so you're not going to get used to the other side. But we can set up some type of joint training kind of situation, where we can have both parties together for this massive training, kind of like we're doing now, having a whole joint meeting instead of being a separate. It's together. So we can set up some type of training with both departments together. It could be a monthly thing with whatever we all want to be on, but set something up that all both departments can work together on, either it being doing 80s, or if it's doing dealing with shot fire calls.
We could also do some sort of joint competition, some sort of fun, and so it doesn't have to be training, like joint paintball, or like we could do set up a race or something in a spot that's not populated by the city, and have a representative from each department kind of race each other in the sense. It just kind of gives team building, gives some competition to keep things alive. These things we could put into play, and I've never seen too much tension between the two sides. I've always worked with BCSO very well. I've always just assisted their officers, and every time I'm on scene with them, we usually just make sure, hey, if you want to do this, can I do this? And we usually sort things out pretty well, and the teamwork's usually there. I don't know, that could just be on my side of things, but
I mean, I know that y'all are getting a different view of it than us, but there has been a lot of stuff that gets kind of overlooked by y'all. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like I'm not saying y'all are like ignoring it or anything like that, but it's y'all get so busy with like admin stuff and trying to get things working, and us who are a little further down are noticing some problems.
Okay.
And
Are
I'm
these
If I can just jump in real quick here, that's actually exactly what this meeting is designed for. Unfortunately, you're 100% correct. As high command, we can get very swamped with a bigger picture type of deal, and we don't get the little picture from people that are a little bit lower down. That's kind of what this meeting is for. We can't always address those concerns very accurately if they're not reported to us. Um, that's kind of why we wanted to have this meeting so you guys can address like these concerns. Um, Now, here's my next question for you, sir. Um, since you raised the point, did you have an idea of what you would like to see that could be
hold on?
potentially a solution to fix it?
Hold on, real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Question though. Yes, high command does get kind of. We do have a bunch to deal with, but you are my apartment, so you kind of know how I am. Have you touched with your supervisors, like your lieutenants or anything, about these
uh,
situations? Because these small situations can be handled by your regular command and supervisors. So it doesn't have to be strictly just high command dealing with it. That's why we have a full command list from corporals to me, or you know, from corporals to the O1s.
so the like a lot of these things are things that have been brought up before. Like they've been brought up in our chat specifically. Um and so I'm not trying to go like super in depth and beat a dead horse, but I just kind of wanted to make it known that there's like been a lack of cooperation between BCSO and LSPD. And I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's like, there's this like rivalry because we're in different departments. I think it's just that everyone's getting so caught up in what's going on at that exact moment that everyone's kind of missing what's going on around them.
Alright. Do we feel like it's a SOP reason? Because I'm trying to incorporate some of LSPD's their
I don't.
policies into ours, or like have a little sign on ours. So it's like when you read our SOPs, you ours, and we incorporate some of theirs. So for like city wise, like if you're doing 80s in the city, it's gonna be different. So we can try to incorporate or both are getting the same picture, you know. Is it
I,
something like that, or is it more just working together as a whole?
I think it's more just working together as a whole because I feel like we do have like okay. So for example, I'm not trying to pick on anything or anything like that, but there have been a few times, especially in these past few days, where something happens. We come down to the city a lot because you guys don't have enough
Oh
people
my
on duty or you need help, and so we'll be like first on scene for like a bank robbery or Evangelicos, and then so we'll start calling things out over the radio, and now somebody from LSPD is coming in and taking scene command. So are they taking scene command because it's in the city, or is that just an oversight on the SOPs? It's small stuff like that that's been happening that we're trying to deal with, but it's nothing's like really getting done.
Okay. Oh yeah. I see what you're saying there. So we get it. The whole jurisdiction. It's a thing. It happens. You know. With that, that's something where communication kind of come. Me and Hutch, the ones O2s, can talk about it more on detail and inform everyone on that. But to this point, communication. If y'all want to keep like if you're first one on scene, you know the most. So what I brought up before was instead of it one person doing this or that, it's like one person did a port. Everybody just does a port. So, but if you're first on scene, you're taking charge. Yes, technically their jurisdiction, they would have that say so. So if they want to come over and let's say you show up on scene and 303 shows up on the scene, or 330, they technically, yes, LSPD would have the jurisdiction over it. Now, something y'all do is work together, like communicate. Do you want scene command because it's your jurisdiction? Give them that option instead of it being like, oh, it's your jurisdiction. Here you go. But communicate that. Like, do you, hey, LSPD, do y'all want this scene? Take it over for making calls and see if they want it. Because if they can communicate it, it's always best communication. Communication is key. If you're being quiet and it's like two people butting heads, you're gonna have that issue. Communicate. But we're also talking about if it's towards more the end, like who takes the report. I'm trying to incorporate where everyone does the report.
10-4.
But I mean, we can, me, Hutch, Briggs, and 302 can talk about it on more hand. Or even all high command of both departments would talk about it on if it's y'all's jurisdiction, or like if it's city. As soon as a city member pulls up on that scene, they might get given that position, or if it's communicated.
Yes, sir.
I feel like a good rule of thumb here for who's primary is it's always going to be who was first initially on scene until said otherwise. Doesn't matter if there's someone above you. If you were first on scene, at the end of the day, you are the one that knows the most about that scene. Because primary is usually the one handling the biggest chunk of the report, right? Because they know the most. They know all the charges that would apply. Just because we're high command doesn't mean we know everything that happened on that scene. And to be honest, unless it's like a major mass casualty incident with a lot of moving parts, there should be no reason for us to take primary or really even command of that scene from you. That's just a general rule of thumb. So if BCSO is first on scene and then LSPD is second, just because it's in the city doesn't mean that LSPD can take it from BCSO, because BCSO may know more about the scene within the first 30 seconds that they were there than versus the 30 seconds after than when LSPD showed up. So just as a rule of thumb, until said otherwise on a scene, whoever is first on scene is primary and is in charge of that scene.
10-4.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, it's simple. You're first on scene no matter what. It's your scene. Unless you either pass, like if it's like a major issue, like shots fired call, and you don't feel comfortable being scene command of it, obviously, hey, find the highest one on that's on there, even if it's from LSPD or BCSO side.
Sounds good.
Yeah, just communicate. If you don't want to take scene command, because it's kind of one of those things where if you were first, you're scene command until someone says otherwise, you know. A shots fired call, maybe not so much, but if it's like a major shots fired call, like with officers down and and a bunch of moving parts, maybe then you can be like, okay, high command can take this, or somebody's above you, but follow that rule of thumb, always, especially if there's no supervisors on, you know, and like just kind of like follow whoever was first on scene, second on scene, third on scene, and work together to figure it out kind of situation.
Real quick with that as well, just to add, we're getting, I think, set as soon as we can. We're bumping up the units. I think we added an RSOP already. We're bumping up the units when BCSO has transitioned to the county to 8 LSPD units. So you guys can stick around more in the county, and even with that 8 cap, we still might need you guys. So we'll be calling for you guys more than necessary, because of, in that sense, we guys want you to be more incorporated within the city. as well as with the whole scene thing. Of course, first on scene. When it comes to a needed of scene command, it's not really jurisdiction at that point, since you guys, if they're both in the city, it's joint jurisdiction. So pretty much just the highest ranking officers will listen to like a BCSO sergeant. So say Ledger, you have on scene, and there's like two deputies and an officer, and maybe a corporal. They'll listen to you as you're the higher ranking individual. The first on scene will tell you and inform you what's going on, and from there, it's your job as the supervisor to kind of adjust things accordingly. But it's just the ranking mostly occurs because ranking usually comes with experience. So we should be listening towards higher ups in that sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
Also, I want to put this up for LSPD side. LSPD, the jurisdiction is not just y'all's. Y'all have 8 on duty. We stay in the county after that. If there's stuff pop off in the county, feel free. If we're busy, feel free to help us in the county as well. Y'all are not prohibited from going up there. We have only prohibit pretty much after 8. Y'all are on duty to stay in the city. But if there's calls in the county, don't be afraid to respond to them as well. If a BCSO deputy's busy on a call, because I don't feel like y'all can't go in the county. Honestly, if there's not 8 of us on duty, y'all can control the county. That's all I care about. Obviously, cities deal with your city portion first, but both sides, keep both sides going.
Okay. Is that it on this point then?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Just trying to keep it moving because I know probably if you want to bring up good points, and I don't want it to be like a 3-hour long meeting if you can help it.
All right,
If-
Johnson, I'm gonna invite you up here.
Okay, perfect.
All right, you should be able to accept that. There it is. You have the floor, sir.
All right. So, and I was trying to raise my hand, but apparently I was doing it wrong because I'm old and shit. So here we are. So just to clarify, and I think it would be good if this was written down somewhere and distributed to everybody, just to, if there were nothing better than a reminder on that point. I've been on several scenes where I've been first on, and this exact thing has happened. And it's not a rank thing. It's and I've been told, and others have told me that they've been told that if it's in the city limits, it's LSPDs, and we are there strictly as backup. I know that to not be true, but there's kind of a mixed message that's been sent out, or at least it's been received, whether it's been misinterpreted or whatever. That's what some of us, up in the North Country have been told. If it's in the city, it's LSPD, and we're kind of like a placeholder, it seems. Which, if that's the case, then let's clarify what the policy is, what the SOP is on both sides, so that there is no question, there is no concern about we heard this, but no, your command is telling you this, and whatever that. Let's drill it down. Whatever it is fine. We don't, it's not about whether we like it or not, or we approve of it or not. It's let's drill down as to what the actual SOP is and what the directive is, because it seems like there's some confusion about that.
Yeah. We can add this in this bit because in the end of the day, we're all LEO, law
Sure.
enforcement officers. We're not. In the day, yes, we may be PSO and they're LSPD. Jurisdiction, yes, they have jurisdiction in the city, we have in the county.
Mhm.
But in the day, if you're first on scene, you know what's going on. And now, as we've all said, I'm big on communication.
Mhm.
If you want to offer, me personally, hey, LSPD, do you want this scene? Communicate that. They be like, yes, we want it, or no, cool.
And
But
I'm totally down with that. Absolutely. If come up and ask, hey, what do you need me to do? But if I'm calling out, number, body counts inside, who's got guns, how many houses, and all that, and just because I haven't walked up to the door because I'm holding back while I do that, then somebody else comes up and just goes up and just takes over. It's like, well, okay.
yeah, in the day, you're first on scene. You're going to know the most. Honestly, you're
Sure.
the first one there. Take it. Now, if they're trying to be like, oh, it's my jurisdiction. Like, I get it. It's jurisdiction. This is city, county. Communicate. Like, if
sure.
like LSPD, if y'all want that scene, communicate. Like, same thing with us. If y'all go up in county and deal with the robbery because we can't get there at the time, and we get there, if you want to, like, hey, you want the scene, like, communicate that, because in the day, if y'all ain't communicating, we're not, nothing's getting done if you're not going to communicate. Like,
No,
talk to each other.
yeah, no, I get that, and communication is key. I just think it might be helpful just to maybe even just as a reminder or a retrain or a reiteration of what the policies are regarding those situations.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, those of us that are here in attendance, we can hear the message and we can understand it and take it to heart, and that's all well and good. But you know, tomorrow if I'm out on patrol and respond to a fleek on Vespucci and I'm there calling out, body counts, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody else comes up and just, basically kicks the door down on the situation, takes over. It's that's what I'm talking about. It's not about necessarily the on-scene communication. I'm talking about, let's get something set in stone so that there's no equivocation, there's no arguing, and no misunderstanding of it. This is how things go. First on scene takes command, barring something, off the rails, mass shooting or something that would require an escalation in rank to handle the situation. I'm talking about our run of the mill everyday 90s and all that. If there's something that could be put out to both agencies, so that there's no confusion.
Definitely.
Yes, that announcement can be made. Yep.
We can make an announcement on both sides. We can add to those piece for the ones that couldn't make this meeting.
Perfect.
But at the end of the day, we should be working as a team, not separate.
Absolutely.
Just because your city or your county or our county, the other city, whatever. In the day, we're doing the same job. The only difference between us is, yes, jurisdiction or our SOP is going to be a little different, because obviously doing stuff in the county is going to be a little different than in the city. But in the day, you show up first on the scene because LSPD is busy. You're the one that made on there, and now they showed up. You know the most. It's your scene. If you want to be like, hey, you want this take over as scene command since yours, that's something y'all need to work out and communicate. Or, hey, they show up and like, hey, can I take over this situation because it's LSPD is the city or it's the county. Like, communication is key. Like, if you're communicating, like, hey, no, I'm here first. I kind of want to keep it cool.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to, make it, for lack of a better way to put it, an ego thing. It's not about that. It's about getting the job done. It's just about how we go about accomplishing that, I guess. And
Definitely.
making sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
If I can touch on a couple other things, I'll try not to be too long-winded. Just to touch on the communications that have occurred in the past between both of our agencies and EMS/SAFR. I've had to go and speak with their commands in away from the scene about a scene and how things went down, and it's challenging to say the least, because it feels like their command has a thing about talking down to people and wanting to kick dead horses. You've addressed the issue. If you certainly don't address it, it's not appropriate for them to address it, on scene, unless it's an emergency thing. If it's something you want to pull somebody aside, do it professionally. You take them aside. Hey, I saw you did this. That's really not how you should be doing things. This is what we're asking. Great. Thanks. Lesson learned. But to berate, somebody on a scene, for no other reason than to do so, it doesn't serve any purpose, especially in front of other people, civilians, other witnesses. It's not appropriate. It's not how you handle something. If I'm about to kill somebody by making a mistake, absolutely correct me in the moment. But if it's I move somebody and or whatever the case is, if it's something that isn't an in the moment life threatening thing, it can wait. You can pull me aside and we'll have a conversation. So I know you guys are all on top of that, and I appreciate that, as do I'm sure everybody else that's had that type of interaction. So we'll just let y'all handle it.
Definitely.
So to add on to this, since I did speak with Saffir, yes, according to Saffir Command, that is what they're supposed to be doing. That's what they've been trying to do. At least that's what they have told me. Obviously, I've heard other stories from you guys that they are correcting in front of people. I am with you 100%, and I have not seen it happen since I've had this conversation with them. But if it does, it will be addressed once again that if they need to talk to you, that you need to be pulled aside unless it's life threatening, or they need to just bring it up to a higher member and we will talk with you about it. That conversation has been had. We are in agreement about it. I had that conversation on behalf of BTSO and LSPD. So if that issue arises again, we will address it again.
Also, with the whole email thing, I do say practice of contacting them, even if I can see them to see they're not available. But sometimes they might listen. Contact them. Go over the radio, give them 3 chances. Call them. They don't answer. It's cool. They're not available. If they're available, I do log times. Like if you're involved in the last scene where officer was shot, communicate that, hey, I have a patient up here, suspect, whatever. He was shot. This is what his injuries are. Do you want me to move them or leave them? Biggest thing, like I've said, the last thing, communication. Communicate with them. Like, communicate with them. Like, hey, do you want me to move this patient or leave them? Give them like what's their injuries are. Can I move them? Leave them? What do you want me to do? Communicate that so they can tell you, go and just don't move them. Cool. Or hey, you're gonna move them.
I agree with that, and that's what we should be doing. Even those of us that are medically trained do very minimal just to stabilize and then make sure that they're en route. I get that, and there's also there's been an influx of newer people that haven't been through training, haven't had aren't sure what to be doing. Obviously as we go through the days and weeks and people get trained up, etc., that dynamic is going to change. But I think it's really just, it's not about so much the situational stuff. I think it's more about, talk to me like I'm a human being. I ain't your kid.
Yeah. Well, with that, I mean, I see both sides because personally, I've been a first responder. I've done firefighting, but if someone takes that's their passion, that's their job, and if you're just doing the job for them, it takes the whole thing away. So I get it, like on their side, like yes, he takes it passionately. It's his job, and he takes it seriously, like everyone should, But yes, I do agree. Like they shouldn't be yelling at y'all. That's something I should be
It's not
doing.
going to happen again.
That's something I'm going to be doing to you personally because I don't want him yelling at my guys.
I'll take it from you. I'm not taking it from him.
But he could talk to you peacefully in a respectful manner.
Absolutely.
Yes, understand he should do it in a respectful way, not just right there on scene. Bring you aside, just talk to you like a normal human being. If there's an issue, obviously he should bring it to our command's eyes. But if it happens, just report it. Video proof, please, because I'm not seeing any of this. I'm not seeing video of it. The only videos I've seen one is them being talking peacefully. Of course, that was the problem child we had. But
Sorry.
But yeah, always just communicate with them. Try to save yourself the headache. Just communicate with them, see what they want you to do. Because in the end of the day, medical wise, it is their final call. They do have the say. So just communicate. Do you want me to move this person? Don't move this person. See what you can do. Just communication is key. Because they can tell you, hey, this person is a line of fire. We need them out of there. Can I move them?
Yeah, No, I get the medical side. It really, I think it's the interpersonal communications and how it's how they impart the message, not so much what the contents of the message is. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
we're adults. We're all here to have fun. We're all here to have a good time. We're all adults.
Yeah.
Let's treat each other accordingly.
Well, we'll talk to him, obviously, as Marina
Sure.
said. Like, we'll talk to him like, to not handle y'all personally on a level with them, just to bring the issues to us, and we can, the command side can talk to you about it, like, to handle it on our side. So y'all don't get yelled at like your children on scene, which I agree. I mean, me personally, I'm not gonna yell at you on scene. I'm gonna yell at you after the fact.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yes, this conversation has been had with them. As I said, I haven't seen it happen since I've had that conversation with them. So that is one positive. So I feel like this situation has already been addressed. My only suggestion is, if it happens again, as Stein said, immediately bring it up to your high command, and we will address it with them as soon as possible. On an additional thing that Stein brought up, something they've actually requested from PD is just, if we can, be more communicative. Get on their channel, be like, hey, we have this going on. You guys can roll it. Just use your words. Go on their channel if you can, and just let them know what's going on. If they're good to come in, what to expect, what you should be doing, and you guys should theoretically have no issues. So that's really it on this point.
Okay.
I feel, unless there's something else to add.
Not regarding that. My last thing is, and I'm sure this is probably going to be addressed ad nauseum, either later in this meeting or in our within our own respective departments. Communications. I've in the last couple of days, there's been a couple of times where I've been laying in the middle of the road for 20 minutes, during which I've put out alerts. Other law enforcement officers have put out notifications requesting assistance, and then officers have just gone 42, like multiples without. It's not just about me. It's just pay attention to the comms and help out. And if we need to be better on my end specifically, let me know. But it's it's kind of frustrating when not once, not twice, but sometimes three or more times, notifications are put out, and then rather than getting a response, people go off duty. It's like, really? I mean, it kind of sets a tone, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I mean that's not something we can really control. People just need to be due diligent and be respectful. And I mean, well, not respectful. They just need to help someone out before they go off duty. I mean, if it takes an extra minute, I mean, this is what it is. Just try to help them out. If not, then just take the NPC fucking ambulance and try your best and yell at people from there. But at that point, people should be helping you out. I don't know why they're being kind of lazy, if that's the sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that too, communicate. You're gonna hear from me a lot. I'm gonna repeat in your heads. Communication. If we're sitting at the stations, it's not just total. I've done it before. If you're busy doing something, I get it. If you arrest somebody, it only takes one person to do the report. Anyone else can add their fill of that report in later. But if you have a situation, you arrest somebody, it only takes one person per person. So if you arrest one person, you don't need 20, like 4 people sitting at that station, no matter who it is. BCSO LSPD. It takes one person. The other people that was involved in the scene can go and put their input later. Like, you can put out, hey, it's been created, I'm done with it. Everyone else add your side to it later. But communicate. But yes, also help each other out. Communication. Like, don't ignore it, because how are you gonna feel if you're sitting on the side of the road and being ignored by anyone else? Like, help it out. help out somebody, even if you're trying to go 42. I've done it a lot of times. I'm gonna go back to station, go 42. Oh, I just now have a person down. Let me go help them. Like, let's not ignore these calls, no matter what they are. Just try to work as a team, getting them done, helping each other out. If it's an officer not wearing a seatbelt, got ejected, cool. Let me go get them. Or a same-day request. Like, if you're at the station, you're doing something, but pay attention. Is anyone else? If it's 5 people on duty and 4 at a station, one's asking for backup, maybe you should stop what you're doing. If you're at a meeting, hey, he's the only one out there. Let's one of y'all go out to help him. Let's not ignore each other, guys. Like I said, in the end of the day, we're a team. It's not LSPD or NPC. So, in the day, this officer or deputy needs assistance, and he's the only one out there doing shit. Let's go help him.
All right, Johnson, I'm gonna move you out if you're good. We got a
my
bunch
only
of people to
thing
bring
is
in.
if anybody else has, or if there's ever a time when somebody needs to address something with me, please don't hesitate. I don't, I got a thick skin. I don't take shit personal. So if I'm screwing up, let me know. I don't want this to be just me attacking everybody else, because that's not what this is about. So go ahead, kick me off the stage.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're gonna bring up Tubbs, and then after Tubbs, it'll be Reginald, and then Howard. Let me get you up here, Tubbs.
I was just gonna suggest that too.
Yeah, where is Tubbs? Oh Lord. Oh, there I go. I got him.
Oh,
All right, you
Mr.
should have been
5'1"
invited, sir.
now.
Yeah, all right, come on, give it to us, Tubbs. What you got?
This is Harold Tubb, Blaine County Sheriff's Office. How y'all doing?
I love your voice.
Oh, God bless.
Oh shit. The only thing I was gonna say is basically I feel like the cadets and I mean even the actual, people that are not cadets anymore, there needs to be some kind of training for shooting. Like I've seen it, today, I've seen it as on the crim side, I've seen it from law enforcement side. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the LEO field that literally just can't shoot. I mean, it's, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way, but like we should never be getting, if there's a scene that there's 3 people shooting and we have 6 people there. I mean, as law enforcement, we shouldn't be getting 3v6 or whatever.
Yeah. We can, again, I'm thinking towards the beginning of this whole meeting, we can set up joint training, or departments can train their own guys. We can set something up there to do like a shooting range. That's hard to do because, I don't want to put a lot of people in, but we can put situations like, that's where a scene command will come in. I get it. If you're going to try to turn your fire best possible, we can set training up to help better at your accuracy under a stressful situation, which I have perfect fucking idea for it. But we can also look at other avenues on this, because if I get it, you're under fire, you're just shooting towards them, like you're trying to hit them, but you're also getting taken fire in the process. Yes, it's definitely hard. Definitely, if you're going against a dude with class 2 and no one else has class 2. But we can also look at, can I get access to them in a different area? Like, I'll bring up today's situation. We had one. Officers taking fire. We had a deputy go up, get behind these two shooters, and pretty much incapacitate them. Using like other avenue approaches. Like that's what we can work on during these trainings. Looking at trying to get different views, But yeah, that's something we can work on. It should be a part of your cadet training anyway, or at least be a suicide. I know we have them shoot to get used to the weapon, but that's something we can add on to more training to do in a far range.
When
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
bored out, I'm just gonna start bringing people to paintball and be like, you're gonna come to paintball. We're gonna better our aim, because I mean I play too much COD and like Warzone and all this shit for my aim to be bad. So if that's bad, it's kind of, I mean, that's kind of not no bueno. So if I see people and it's really boring, I'm just gonna bring people to go paintball. I encourage you guys to go paintballing with each other and just practice aim and just kind of get that set, because I've seen it before. We've just got slaughtered by like 3 members of the Disciples. Goddamn you, Harry. And then we've had like 12 of us, and then we all just get shit on really, really bad. And
and even more so than like
I was there for that.
paintball, but like I ain't trying to say pull people from the server, but like if there's a time where like there's some arena that we play as like a gang, and you can actually do like situational, like kind of wars where it's like hop outs where you get to a scene, you're getting shot at, and you're in your car, you back up, and like that way you learn the map, and you get your practice in. I'm not saying that's something that has to be done, but it's definitely beneficial for like as for me as shooting wise. But that was just something that I brought up. I mean, there's a lot of people that just need to get better aim.
Yeah, I mean, if you are great at aiming, honestly, me personally, I don't care if you're supervisor, command, high command. If you are good at doing something, bring him to a command member. Hey, I want to do a training on this. Like, I don't care if you're great at shooting, you have ideas to improve people, bring it up. We'll get it set up, and you can train that situation. I don't care if you're a deputy, senior deputy. If you're good at doing something and you want to share that knowledge, share that knowledge. So.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that either. But we can definitely set something up to get more training out, to get more people trained on how to shoot. Definitely put them in under some stressful situations, like if it's going to paintball, shooting at them, getting them to actually try to aim and think of how to get the suspect down at this location. That's in the day. That's the biggest thing. It's not just getting in front of them, shooting at them, hope we hit them. It's more use your knowledge. Like, let's try, doing something to get behind them, to get them at multiple locations. And that it's your technique and your strategy during the shootout. It's not just show up, fire at them, hope you get them, kind of thing.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm not gonna take much longer. The best thing you can do, I've been accused of it, I think a lot of us have, is just get you an aimbot and be real good. So I'm just kidding. But anyway.
Oh my god.
You can. There's the only other thing is I think it's been kind of addressed a little bit. Basically just the comms. Because I know they're like even tonight. There was 4 LEO on, me being the only deputy, and then 3 LSPD. I was at a traffic stop. I had called it out, got no response. Was actually shot at by the guy on the traffic stop. Called for backup, and there was not a word said on radio. So,
yeah, that might be a problem with some people also staying on duty to get money while they go in their head for a while. It's something that's been addressed. If we catch people going on in their head for a little bit, and then it becomes more than a little bit, and you kind of just sitting there to collect your paycheck, you're gonna get probably a strike. At least on the LSPD side, you're gonna get some disciplinary action because this is not right, man. Like I know we all want the money. I'm broke as hell in the city, and I like to spend my money, but you just gotta deal with it, and you gotta just be around in city to make that money. That's what your hard work is for.
No, but that's all I got. I appreciate it, all of y'all guys. I really do enjoy it. So,
yeah. Basis suicide. Sorry to cut you off for a minute. Same thing. Like, I haven't really seen it on our side. If you're doing it, honestly, I don't agree with it. You're on duty. You're on duty. If you're just gonna be sitting there collecting paycheck, you might as well just clock off, go mine, and go do something. So we'll try to fix that, where you're not responding to something by yourself and questing back up. Like, I know basis that I don't agree with you. Like, if you're collecting on duty, you're gonna clock on duty and actually patrol. If you're gonna be busy doing something, yes. If it's gonna take like 10, 15, 20 minutes, either clock off or put a notification out, like, knowing, like, hey, I'm gonna be busy doing this. Like, if definitely more training wise, I brought this idea up before. If you're doing training, clock off duty, contact your command afterwards, like, hey, me and 4 others were doing SWAT training or heat training, whatever. It took us 4 hours to finish it. Can we get compensated for that time we were doing stuff? Because in the day, we don't want to have people like 8 LSPD on, 8 BSO on, and only one of them patrolling. The other ones are doing training. So if it's training wise, I have no issues of doing compensation for police BSO side. Like, so say 502 has training going on. He has 4 BSO. They spend 2 hours doing it. Cool. I'll figure out the 2-hour time frame payment and compensate everybody for their time from BCSO funds. It's just so you're not taking up a spot. You're not having people, or now people can go do a maze bank robbery when there's really only 3 people patrolling.
I'm gonna just quickly wrap up this point so we can move on. Essentially, yes, we've at least on the LSPD side, because this was the specific incident you're talking about was an LSPD thing. It's been addressed. There was an announcement put out. Officers need to either put a pin in their report or at the very least communicate over the radio what's going on. And if we're all wrapped up, then at least you need to be informed of that. That's what ended up coming out of that situation. That was the consistency we came to as high command. So we're trying to emphasize more communication. If you're wrapped up, just say that. If you can put a pin in your report, put a pin in your report.
No,
Simple as that.
I know you were talking about that, like that situation that happened a while back. I'm talking about the one that happened like an hour ago.
Oh, I didn't realize there wasn't one an hour
Yeah.
ago. Well,
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
did you can, I'll talk to you about it privately, but that is an announcement that got put out last week, so
All
or
right.
maybe earlier this week, so I'll address it with you privately, but we'll need to keep this moving good.
You can also
I
DM
hate
me
you.
the pictures as well.
All right.
Yeah, just DM me and I'll send it to Marina.
Sounds good.
You good, Harry? We move you down.
Oh yeah. Kick me out of here.
Fantastic.
Get this guy out of here. Get this
all
guy out of here.
Fantastic. The dang disciples guy. All right. What's it called? Amino messaged me. Yeah, Amino messaged me just to bring up one thing at the topic. The W cop mentality. No bueno. Please be respectful. I've seen a lot of officers be disrespectful and use their badge as kind of just use that kind of bad as the big dick of the law. Please, have some pushback, have some respect towards the people, be nice. You don't got to be an asshole because you have this position or whatever. Kind of just keep your thing to yourself. And honestly, officer safety is more important than a suspect. Earlier we had a suspect that was running away, and one of the officers flipped, so I kind of just cut off and let the suspect get away just so I can unflip the officer and make sure he's okay. We don't need to catch a criminal every time. Just make sure everyone's safety is in order, and we're all kind of coming together as a team. And then that too, your pit timers and people pitting all crazy and people running people over with vehicles and stuff. I mean, we gotta have some restrictions. We gotta be smart with stuff. So please, just everybody be smart with what they do, what they say. You're representing the department, you're representing us, and then when we come with a complaint, we kind of just look at you and give you that frown upon us, and we just at that point we get annoyed because we keep getting complaints about this kind of thing. So please just be respectful over Twitter, be respectful of people, and just don't use the W cop mentality, please, for the love of God. Thank you guys.
Yeah, that goes along with the instant grabbing and instant cuffing. Like RP the scene out. Like you make people not want to do crime if they're just getting insta cuffed or insta grabbed. Chase them down, tase them, shit like that.
Same thing with the spikes. Like, guys, we're here to RP roleplay. We're not here to fucking just cause some robbers bullshit. Like spiking, like I get it. If you show up to a robbery, they can only get one thing for one thing, right? They want free passage, so obviously they want to get to the car and try to outdrive you. Don't just spike them because they didn't ask for no spikes. Like, get it out. Like, we win some, we lose some, whatever. Yeah, you either catch them, you don't catch them. What's worse? You lose them, no report has to be written out within a bolo. You catch them, cool. You caught them, you're booking them, you're putting a report out, you're getting whatever plea they want. You're doing paperwork in the way. So let's, as everyone else said, stop the W mentality. Like, you're not there to win. You're there to and have fun. Give roleplay. Make someone enjoy being here. Because as a cop, we kind of set the standard. We kind of set how this person is going to be. So if we're just going over there, cool, let me just get you for this, call it good. Don't give them a W mentality because you're just going to ruin people's attitudes. You're getting tired of getting shot at 24/7. Well, problem is because how you interact with them is what they're gonna get. So, give role playing. Don't go out for the win.
If everybody's good, we're gonna pull up Reginald, I believe. Yeah, we're gonna pull up Reginald, and then we have Howard. Sorry, guys, it's kind of taking a little bit long. So, Stein and everybody here, if we want to shorten our answers a little bit, so we can just keep people moving along. I believe that's all we have for the rest of the hands. So let me get Reginald up here. There you are. Here's your invite, sir. There he is. You got the floor.
All right, what's up? So a lot of what I have been noticing just in my time here in the city is that a lot of criminals and a lot of people just in general laugh at all of PD. It's not just towards BCSO, it's not just towards LSPD, but like as a police department in general, they really do laugh at us. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen like, you know, like you said, like criminals escaping, or somehow they manage to trick an officer into letting them out of cuffs. Like I've seen that on I think like 1 or 2 occasions where that has specifically happened, and it's like, wait, how did they just trick you into letting us out? Like how did they trick you into letting them out of cuffs? That doesn't make any sense, even though you clearly saw them on a scene. Like it just there something's not adding up there. And like and also in a sense where criminals are laughing at us too is like for example, like we can't go into Mirror Park, for example. But like, this is still our city. We have to patrol any citizen that is going through there. While yes, it is mostly ran by the disciples, or the disciples normally hang out there, but that is still this is still a city that we have to patrol, and if a call comes in there, like we shouldn't be afraid to go in there. You know what I mean? Like what can we do as a police force kind of control that to where we shouldn't have to be afraid to go in there, and the criminal shouldn't be threatening us all the time to get out of their area? Like, if they're not doing anything wrong, they shouldn't be threatening us. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, end of the day, I mean, if criminals don't make fun of us, joke, cool. We can't do anything about that because, yes, they're gonna joke. Like, I had a situation earlier, or yesterday. Dude in Mustang, I ran our cops. Like, oh, they can't drive. Cool. Whatever. They're doing that for their own little personal gain. They want to feel like they got the biggest balls of them all. Cool. Let them have it. But for like Mirror Park situation, we should not be afraid to go in there. If yes, I know it's a disciple patrolled area. Go in there in teams. Like, hey, if there's a caller, have multiple officers there. So it's not you're not ignoring that situation, but you have backup just in case you need them. Like, we should do our jobs. Like, show force. Like, don't be leading with like if you're showing up a known area, like known gang area. Show the force. Show that dominance against them. Like, doesn't know like they do not control the city. They don't have the power. They want to show that power. Cool. Let them have the balls. But in the day, we have the full control. Like how this situation. Like we need to work as a team. If there's stuff going off Mirror Park, shots fired. Cool. Let's get multiple units out there. Show up there for people. Whatever. Get the units out there. Do your thing. Inspect the area. Catching one that's shooting. Question your people. But go there as a unit, like together. So that's what we.
Sorry.
Yeah, if we got to in these areas, like gang known areas, don't just go by yourself. Go there in multiple units.
No, I wasn't trying to insinuate like going there by yourself, but like
Well, yeah,
we should be able to still respond to these calls. Like I can't tell you how many times I responded to, like I was like so afraid to go because how like they specifically act towards police officers, but we still have to go there, and especially if it's like an EMS call, for example, which was that call, like we should still be able to go there and help assist, because they're not going to go in there unless we're there, and we're not going to go in there unless there's like at least 5 of us around to go in and respond to that call. But it should never, in my opinion, have to come to that level of where there has to be 5 officers to go into just one little specific area of the city and the county. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. So, one thing, Marina, sorry, I'll keep cutting you off. Yes, do your job. Show up there. If you know the area, call people in route automatically. But do your job. Like, we shouldn't be afraid to go here. You still got a job to do. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right, Marina,
And like
so you-
right now they're trying to put a hit out on officer because his house or something is like right at the edge of that area. And it's like, really? That's the level that we're coming to? You want to drive this guy out of this house that he spent his hard-earned money on getting to protect you guys?
Well, he knew not to move there. To be fair,
It's outside. It's
To
like 2 blocks in the right direction. It's
to evaluate on this point, TLDR, no. I do know that a while ago we did have a policy where it was like, don't go into Mirror Park. There was a lot of stigmatism. That's done. Like I'm done with the lockdown stuff. I'm done with all of that because it really does. Like I noticed how it changed public perception of us. We started looking really weak. Like so we cut that out, and I already started to notice a change again. So no, don't go into Mirror Park by yourself. That hasn't changed. At least be with another unit.
yeah, it's a safety.
End of story. That's the end of the line. With regards to like them threatening you for being in their area, there's nothing we're gonna do about that. At the end of the day, that's just a matter of improving relations with them. And that's something that happens like IRL. Like people will literally like cops will go to a specific area and gang members will walk up and approach them and be like, "What are you doing here? What do you want?"
yeah.
It's a very realistic thing. It's fine. I know what incident you're talking about. We can talk about that privately.
Mhm.
But no, you can go into Mirror Park, do what you got to do. Just if you can get another unit, because if you're ambushed by yourself, then you're SOL.
Yeah.
When it comes
And
to that
and
situation for the crim asking what they're doing, it could be they're searching for like an RP perspective, and when the cop just tells them fuck off or whatever, that kind of just elevates things, you know.
yeah, like we as much we should really be community relations is another thing. I've been in your position so many times. I've been a cop for long, and I know exactly everything that you guys are talking about. Another point that I wanted to bring up too was I've been getting conflicting like signals about, or not signals, but like the procedure on a lot of what we should and shouldn't do. So one thing that I've been conflicted with ever since I joined LSPD was the MDT and how we write reports if we get, let's say, for example, 4 people from robbing Legion Bank. One person could just get in cuffs, and then another person could end up like shooting a cop or whatever. Do we actually put them all under one single report, and one cop specifically handles that report, or they just start the report and then everyone puts it in like their side of like what they grabbed off of the criminal, or what they grabbed off their specific 95? Or do we write them all separately? Because there have been many instances where, no, we're writing 4 separate reports for this, no, we're writing 1 report for 4 people. I mean, I've worked with this MDT in 3 other cities, and like we have the ability to write everybody under one single report if it's for a main incident. For example, a Fleeca Bank, we're able to write everyone under one single report. Their charges are separate, and the charges will be specifically going to their profile if you search them up on the MDT.
Yep, there's a simple answer to this one because the DOJ actually answered this question a long time ago. They would prefer we do one incident report with multiple criminals.
and have everybody contribute to that one incident report. It makes it less messy. There's less numbers involved when it really can just be under one report because it's the same incident that happened. Just have every officer submit in a narrative and what was seized off of each person. You'll have to be super specific in the report, but I'd rather have one long report than 4 separate reports, and so would the DOJ. So that's the simple answer. There doesn't really need to be much more than that.
Yeah, because you can add criminals involved, like, the little section to the right, where, like, criminal involved. You add them, you add what they did. You can add another one, add what they did, and then just in the description, you just put such and such did. I got here. This person did this. This person, blah 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 blah. You can even add to where, hey, this person versus this person, and as I stated earlier, everybody puts their portion in their report. So, like, I'll show up on your scene. That's me and you versus these 2 people. You put the one report. This person did this. This did this. I'm gonna go in there after you get you kind of do your portion of it. Put the evidence, put your description. I'm gonna go in there and put my description. I'm like, hey, this is what happened during this. Well, this is what I witnessed. Because I really have too much information than not enough information, kind of thing. If you, like, so let's say you're primary on the scene, you get there, you're on a chase, and you get shot down. Cool. You're not gonna know what happened after that. But that's where the next officer can be like, hey, this is why I witnessed when I respond to this panic call. I respond here. I did this. We got the suspects down. This is what was found. They can add their portion. So it helps mediate. But yes.
Yeah, because it also helps to. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because I've seen situations where she's like, oh, I was sitting here for 30 minutes. I don't remember anything. No, you have these 4 people who are trying to be dealt with by the people who respond to the panic call.
Mm-hmm.
So you add what you know, where everyone else have what they know. Plus it's one whole complete report. You can add criminals involved. You can add their charges. Keep doing that for that one incident. So yes, it does kind of mediate from you having 4 separate reports to one whole report with all these 4 people involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then with their own little charges.
Yeah, because that definitely helps with also CID work as well. Like if it turns into like a, for example, like information on gangs, like CID needs that information as well, because it helps with us gathering intel on them and how they operate and stuff like that, or what they try and do. So I understand that. Another thing that I wanted to bring up as well, this was mostly happening from the start of when I went into when I came to LSPD, and it kind of doesn't happen now unless it's more requested. So when my first shift, I didn't even ask for it, but there was another officer that backed me up on a simple traffic stop. I didn't ask for it, but it was just there. Now, we all know in our line of work that things can go from 0 to 100 in the snap of a finger. So, should we try and do this more where if someone calls out a traffic stop, like go and just sit there as backup? Because people are very unpredictable. They're gonna eventually run, and then trying to, run from your car to another. They're already in their car. They can easily turn on their engine. We have to run back to our car, turn on the engine, and then try and find them. Should we make it if there's not not as busy, at least having 2 units on a traffic stop?
I will touch on that one. Yeah, I'll touch on that one real quick because that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, traffic stops. Yes, I tell my guys, Riggs can confirm it. I tell my Hutch knows it. I would rather you have somebody on that stop and not need them than need them not happen, kind of thing. So whenever there's a traffic stop, me personally, I try to go to it if no one else is calling en route. I would rather be there and you not need me than you, because then me not be there and you need me. Because traffic stops in the illegal world, it's not just one department, it's both. It's the most ordained thing we can do because we do not know what's going to happen. We don't know if they're going to pull it, they're going to say, fuck you, shoot you, or they're going to be completely compliant. So, to where I've heard it a lot is where someone come over No additional is required. I hate that. Me personally, I hate it because you don't know you don't need additional. So personally, taking that out of aspect, like quit having these people say no additional required kind of thing. Have the additional. If you want additional, call it. If you need them or not, if you don't know. I rather we rather have someone there than not there. If you need them, cool, they're there. But it's a big thing. Yes, I rather have additional there, not need them, than need them, not have them kind of thing. We can make it a thing. If we all want to, we can have it work. There is required to be an additional unit there. But it's in the personal matter of everybody. If you want to show up to that call to system, cool. I do it myself. I'll respond to this call, this track stop, to back them up, even if they don't need me. It could be as simple that they're just cooperating, but in the day, we don't know what's gonna happen during a track stop.
And it's not like that second unit has to, get out of the car. It's they're there, their car is running, their engine's still warm, and all they have to do is just peel right out and go right and start chasing that guy. That's it.
Yep, because that's what I usually will. I'll show up to your call. I'll set my vehicle just in case they run. Now, once you pull the person out of the driver's seat, I'll then get out. But I mean, personally, I usually will stay in the vehicle and just wait. If they run, cool, I'm ready. So it's in the day, it's kind of your own the personal officer. But if we want to make it a policy, I have no issue with that because in the day, I'd rather you have someone there not need them kind of thing.
And this is. Oh, sorry, Marina. Go ahead.
On the LSPD side, I don't see us making it a full-on policy because it's more so a circumstantial thing based on numbers and officer preference. But if you have a feeling that you know who this person is and you're jumpy, you can request for somebody to stage in the area. That's fine. No issue with that whatsoever. If officers want to be proactive and go kind of stage to an area where they can watch the traffic stop from afar and not necessarily be on it, that's cool too. Because also, if another officer rolls up to the scene with their lights on, that can be more intimidating too. So there's different ways you can go about it. It's very, very circumstantial. So it's really up to officer discretion on both the initiating and any backup officers.
Like I more specifically request them if I'm pulling over like a sports car, a supercar, or a bike, because the bike, can take off very quickly and you can easily lose them. Sports car has a lot of power, supercar a lot of power, so they can easily just take off. And me running to my car is only taking a little bit more time for them to speed up to 90, 100, 110 plus, and they're just completely gone in one turn, and I don't even know where the hell they went.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fine.
If you want the additional, call the additional. It's your stop. Like you pull someone over. If you just want additional because you just don't know, call them. Because I agree. Like we don't know what they're gonna do. They can run off. And if they want to stage, like me personally, like what Marina brought up, is it might be intimidating. I've been in a situation where I'm pulling someone over, someone shows up like, dude, makes a comment like, you really need 2 officers here. I'm like, hey, it's more of a safety man. Like he's here just in case I need him. Communicate with the driver you're pulling over. He's only here for like the safe and start kind of thing. He's not here because you're hiring a criminal, but he's only here because he's just backing me up just in case I need it. You didn't do anything other than you're speeding or whatever. But you can also communicate that with the person. So if you do have the additional pull up, they be like, they question like, why you need 2 people here? Hey, it's just here for my safety. It's nothing against you.
And my last thing that I noticed a lot too is that whenever there's like a Vangees or a Fleeca or Maze Bank, we don't really switch to tax all that often unless it's like we're specifically told to switch to a different tack, because there's a lot of other things that are going on in the city that other officers should be aware of and communicating with. I don't know whether it's an actual like policy or not, or in our SOPs or BCSO's SOPs, but I really think that we should really start to like hammer that in. Like as soon as you see Evangelico come in, like radio in like, hey, I'm going over to TAC 4 or 5, 6, whatever the case may be. But not all the time does that ever specifically happen.
Yeah, it technically is a policy. Like my guys, we have these regular channels 6, 7, 8, or it's for your 90s and 80s. Now, 80 wise, that's one thing. If it goes from a Microsoft to an 80, obviously you really can't switch over. But for Evangelico, Flica, the one telling people is me. Like, I don't know if others do it, but I always tell people switch channel 6, whatever. Be it usually is a policy. Be aside, I'm like, hey, if you're going to 90, I don't say you do it automatically. I'll wait till you get there. You know, the first person there he's gonna pass information over what the vehicle is, how many people inside. And then that's where like, hey, I'm gonna switch to channel 6 or channel 7, channel 8. And then anyone else responding, they got the information they need. And then once they get there, they'll switch to the channel. Everyone should be switching to a different channel once they get there, at least. Like, hey, responding, pass information over of what you see, what's there, the vehicle, people, and then switching this to channel whatever. Everyone should be switching if capable. Like if it's an 80, that's one thing. You can't really switch in the middle of an 80. That's understandable. Cool. But for robberies, you should be switching your channel to a channel 6 because we have those channels for that reason. Is to not clog up the main channel to where people can still call out their traffic stops or call out their situation that's popping off. I know I brought it up multiple times. At least I brought up the LSPD before. I made my own announcements in my own channel, my own department. The officers themselves should be making that call. First person, doesn't matter if you're a cadet, deputy, sheriff, chief, lieutenant, whatever. First person on scene should make the call. Pass information, and then have them switch channels.
One thing that Johnson just sent me a message. Maybe we should have assigned channels for the big three: one for Vange, one for Maze, and one for Fleeka.
I don't really want to assign. Yeah, no assigning, just because like there could be different people on different attacks for different reasons. Because sometimes I'll pull people randomly onto attack just to talk with them one-on-one. If a Vanjie happens to go on when I'm using that attack, like it just adds unnecessary. Just when everybody gets on scene, hey guys, attack 4, and then you guys go.
We have those set
it
channels.
Just adds unnecessary layers to something.
We have those set channels. 6, 7, and 8 are your 90 and 80 channels. 4 is right now it's not used because it's
Isn't it supposed to be like
and 5
isn't it supposed to be like Marshals?
Yeah. And 5 is your DOC. Obviously, those are not used right now. You can use those since those are in not used channels. So you could use 4 through 8 because technically we don't have Marshals around. DOC is not a thing right now. It's in the process. But 6, 7, 8 is our set 90 channel, pretty much. So if you have fucking 8 fucking robberies going off, and that's what the fuck. But usually you might have 1 or 2 at the most. So 6, 7, 8 are those designated channels for those.
I thought I had something else, but I don't think I have anything else that I can really think of at this time. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, we appreciate you bringing up those issues. And, we're gonna kick you off and bring in the next person.
All right.
All right. I believe the next person is Howard. I'm working on it. There we go, Howard.
All right. Hello, everybody. I just had one question and something that I had like prior experience in a high command position. In my last 2 cities as a assistant commissioner, what I did during 1080s, and I don't know if this is something that maybe we can implement for LEO in general, and I'm guilty of doing this. When pursuits get dangerous, like high speeds, opposite lanes of traffic, I think today was my final straw, even chasing a suspect opposite lanes of traffic at a high speed, knowing that an ejecto can happen, and which it did to me today. So I don't know if that's something we could probably get that sorted or implemented or announced, that if it's too dangerous, just terminate it. It's something that, I mean, partly personally, I might just do if I'm primary on the pursuit.
I mean, that is something you can do. Like, if you, as the officer primary that's chasing the person, feel this pursuit has gone way too far and is too dangerous, you have that call to call it. I've called a few 80s myself. It's gone to where, hey, it's getting too dangerous. Either one, because they're constantly just putting themselves in danger, and others dangerous because they're running from us. We'll call it just put a bullet for the vehicle. You know, you can call that situation if it's getting too dangerous. Communicate that, hey, it's getting too, like, if you're primary, you're the one that started this 80. Hey, it's getting too dangerous. They're constantly putting ourselves in the public in danger. Cool. We'll call it, like, hey, I'm gonna call this pursuit because it's just too dangerous. I'll have no personal issues. I've done myself. I've done it where we're having 3 officers chase one person. We have 6 people involved. I'm calling it because even if we try to do anything, they're gonna get involved. It might end up to shootout, so we let them go because it gets too dangerous. So if you have that power to do that, if you notice it's getting way too dangerous for not only yourself and them, but for the public, call that 80 off, cancel it, let them go, get the plate, and put the bolo.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it's just something I noticed. I think for our personal levels, me today, I think I'm never doing that again, considering that we were chasing someone on a bike and weaving in and out of traffic, and I caught the unlucky end of swerving a local right into a barrier and ejectoed. So that's it's very nice to know, and I really don't have nothing else other than that. And DeLuca answered my whole radio question I had in the chat. So that's all for me. So I appreciate it. I'm actually going to be getting going here soon.
All right, no problem. Again, just call it, or you can suggest it. Like, again, hey, I suggest we call it because it's getting too dangerous. So you have the power to do that. Like, if you're witnessing it it's going too far, call it off. Suggest it be called off because of it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right, thank you. Do we have anybody else?
Speak now for hold a piece, or get the opportunity to speak before you can.
Briggs left 2 minutes ago. Speak with somebody, go to 1.7.
Yeah, I mean, Johnson, I
I
get what
got
you're
a
saying, but
hand. All right,
having
355. All right, 355. Since you were the first one to request, I will somehow try invite the speaker. You go. All right. Welcome to the stage, sir.
How's it going? 355 Benjamin here. Hi, I just want to kind of just touch bases on something more to line just to kind of do with the cadets and stuff. Something I had basically kind of like, when can we get more into like doing police academy stuff, I guess, for some of our cadets? Like I said, I had a suggestion kind of, I want to give a chance for our cadets to get a platform to kind of show themselves, kind of show what they got. And also it's a great learning experience for like other cadets that are there that may not know everything, kind of get an example, like set up like a training area somewhere where we can kind of go over like mock pit maneuvers and stuff like that, maybe.
Yeah, so I'll speak on this on LSPD's side, especially since, sir, you are an LSPD. So this is definitely something I would love to implement. I've done plenty. I've actually participated in more academies that I've hosted, but tons of academies. Academies are, even if you've been doing it a long time, they're really handy just to touch up on skills. This is definitely, this is something I want to implement. This is actually what phase 1 is technically supposed to be, is like an academy type of situation. It's just there's no written curriculum, so it's not very academy-esque. The only constraint here is High Command actually has to sit down and write it. It's really the only constraint. We have no issue doing it, but well, technically there's two. We have to sit down, we have to write the curriculum, and then we also have to host the curriculum. Usually High Command will do a quick little phase 1 course for people to kind of get their bearings for their cadets, but a lot of what they do is basically the equivalent of an FTO phase. So learning through the streets, but there's no bookwork, and sometimes it's very obvious. So I think that's definitely something we're going to slowly start working on and trying to implement. I would not say it'd be a change we'd see soon, as in not in the next week or two. But it's definitely something we're going to start looking into and slowly writing the curriculum. And obviously it'll go through multiple revisions because we want to get it right. And then once we, as a LSPD, feel like, okay, this is a good academy, we'll probably either go to the DOJ and get it approved. We'll start hosting academies for our cadets, and we'll actually go through hiring waves. So that will all get implemented at the same time.
Okay.
And also,
but definitely something we're experimenting with. So just keep that in mind.
And also, I've also brought up ideas we can also work on trying to do a joint academy, because what you learn in the academy is about the same thing from both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Academy is
even-
usually
Yeah.
IRL
we can even-
joint, and then you split off whoever sponsors
Because it's
you.
a great way for like the Gus to get like communication together too, get everybody to kind of know each other, get more kind of friendly and familiar with others in the department. So But
so
yeah,
we
that-
can work on, we can definitely work on doing it, like even doing a joint academy where LSPD and BSO has their cadets. Hey, I got 5, I need trained. They got 300, I don't know. And we can do joint training, because in the day, academy is the biggest thing. That gets people their foot in the door to get them to being solo. So we definitely work on to cadet wise. Like that's what we're trying to get through, is get cadets trained, get them trained up, get them out of being a cadet, from academy to being their cadet where they can do their FTO phases and then going solo to get more deputies or more officers,
Well, I guess that pretty much answered my question. So
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that wants to? Can we get Safford to do more officer trainings? Yes, I will speak with them, and yes. Would there be a responsibility of the primary or in relation to calling off the 1080? It would be either or. It would probably be. It could be either or. Primary, or if like a high command is on, they can cancel your pursuit. Any reference? Though we don't like doing them most of the time. We let the direct supervisors decide. But we don't want to cancel every 1080. We're not canceling every 1080. No. It's just the ones that are a little out of hand.
Yeah, because if I witness you, if I'm hearing you're on the radio, your 1080 is going for like 15 to 20 minutes, they're constantly going and obviously in travel. If I feel like yes, it's gone way too long, you're not able to stop them, I'm gonna stop it, because if it's putting the public in danger, you can't stop them, I'm gonna stop it. But we're not gonna try to stop every single one as soon as they touch, like, oh, officer's in travel, all right, cancel it. No, but we're gonna let you make the call. But if you're not making the call, you're letting it go on for like 30 minutes, I'm gonna make the call, because no pursuit should last that long.
Yes,
if it's going past 30 minutes, I'm gonna be like, hey, dude, you're taking forever. It's getting too dangerous for the public at this point. Let them go.
So okay. Does anybody else like to come up to the stage or have any additional points to bring up? Because I know we're still kind of talking about the academy thing, but as I said, that's something we're going to experiment with down the line as we write curriculum and kind of get up and running with that. That would be something that would be coordinated actually with the DOJ and get their approval for, because this is definitely something the state would like to be made aware of. Going once, going twice. I see Clanker's typing and Reginald's typing, so I'll let you guys. Okay. You're just commenting on that. Anything else? Because this meeting's been going on for an hour and a half, so we'll try to wrap it up if nobody has anything else. Letting you guys finish up typing. 514 does. I'm just typing to type and make people wait for another whatever. Okay, 514. You know what? Don't want to hear it.
Oh, I think we're good to end the meeting here.
Yeah, we'll call
right.
it here. We'll hold
All
anything
right.
next for the future meeting.
All right. Thank you guys for the first meeting. It went really well, all things considered. All good points were brought up. Points I was actually very happy to hear because they did need to be addressed, and I'm happy that you guys kind of got to talk to us about it. With that said, there was a suggestion that there's a kind of meeting every 2 weeks. That will be something that we discuss. It probably won't be a general law enforcement meeting. It might be a per department meeting. That's something that the departments will have to decide. But overall, very good meeting. Very happy with all the points. If anybody didn't want to address something on the stage or in front of a group of people, I know I'm pretty sure everybody has an open door policy, so you are welcome to come to one of us to talk about it. And yeah, so thank you everybody for coming. Sorry that it was a little long. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Reginald, I don't know. Did we have something to talk about privately? Did I say? Oh, yes, we did. All right, I'll talk to you about that later though. All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.